The newest iPhone is here. Everyone's talking about it. Is it really as amazing as they say? Let's find out. Apple always brings the hype. They're known for sleek designs and cool tech. This year's no different. But should you empty your wallet for the latest shiny gadget? We'll break it down. No tech jargon, just straight talk. We'll cover everything from the design to the camera and everything in between. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what this phone is all about. Whether you're an Apple diehard or just curious, stick around. This is your ultimate guide to the new iPhone. Let's get started. Every year we see what Apple's been cooking up. New features, better cameras, faster processors, the list goes on. This year is no different. Apple's promising big things with this new release. They're claiming it's the most powerful iPhone yet, a bold claim, but one we'll be putting to the test. Of course, a new iPhone wouldn't be complete without camera upgrades. We'll dive deep into the camera system, test out its capabilities, and see if it lives up to the hype. Plus, we'll explore all the software enhancements and how they impact your everyday use. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Upgrading your phone is a big decision, especially with the price of these devices. We'll help you make the right call. We'll weigh the pros and cons, compare it to the competition, and consider its value for the price. By the end of this video, you'll have all the information you need to decide if the new iPhone is right for you. We'll cut through the marketing jargon and give you the honest truth. So, stay tuned. Let's unpack this new iPhone and see if it's worth your hard-earned cash. Alright, let's get hands-on with this thing. First impressions, it feels incredibly solid, familiar. Apple's sticking with the flat-edge design we've seen in recent models. It's definitely got that premium vibe, especially with this glass back. Feels really nice in the hand, not too slippery. They haven't messed with the button placement much either, which is good news for those upgrading from a previous model. It'll feel right at home in your hand. Of course, we've got the Lightning port on the bottom, no surprises there. Overall, the design is clean, modern, and unmistakably iPhone. Now let's talk colors. Apple's always been good at offering some unique and stylish options. This year we've got some classic shades and a few new additions that really catch the eye. Personally, I'm digging this deep blue. Very sleek. And for those who prefer something more understated, the classic silver and space gray are always solid choices. No matter your style, there's probably a color option that suits you. The finishes are all really nice too. Matte on the sides, glossy on the back. It definitely gives it that premium look and feel. Plus, it just feels good to hold. As I mentioned earlier, the design isn't a radical departure from previous iPhones, and you know what? That's not necessarily a bad thing. Apple found a design language that works, and they're sticking with it. But they have made some subtle refinements. The edges feel a bit more rounded, making it even more comfortable to hold. The camera bump is still there, but it's been slightly tweaked. It's not quite as pronounced as before, which is a welcome change. Overall, it's an evolution, not a revolution when it comes to design. And for many, that's perfectly fine. Okay, let's zoom in on some of the details. The front of the phone is all screen, with barely any bezels. This design choice maximizes the display area, giving you more screen real estate for your apps, videos, and games. Apple calls it their Super Retina XDR display, and it's gorgeous. The colors are vivid, the blacks are deep, and the brightness levels are impressive, making it perfect for both indoor and outdoor use. We'll dive deeper into the display in a bit. At the top, we've got the familiar notch, housing the front-facing camera and sensors. This notch is essential for Face ID, which is one of the most secure facial recognition systems available. Some people aren't fans of the notch, but honestly, it's something you quickly get used to. Over time, it becomes almost invisible as you focus on the content on the screen. On the right side, we've got the power button, and on the left, the volume rocker and the mute switch. These buttons are tactile and responsive, making it easy to adjust settings on the fly. Everything is easy to reach, even with one hand. This ergonomic design ensures that you can use the phone comfortably, whether you're texting, browsing, or taking photos. The bottom of the phone houses the Lightning port, flanked by the speaker grills. These speakers deliver clear and loud audio, perfect for media consumption and calls. And of course, no headphone jack, that's been gone for a while now. Instead, Apple encourages the use of wireless earbuds or Lightning-connected headphones. Overall, the design of the new iPhone is sleek, modern, and refined. The materials used feel premium, and the build quality is top-notch. It's familiar yet subtly improved. The changes might not be drastic, but they enhance the overall user experience. Apple's clearly focusing on what works, and in this case, it definitely shows. The design is both functional and aesthetically pleasing, making it a joy to use every day. Alright, now for the star of the show, the display. This is what you're interacting with most of the time, and Apple knows it. They haven't cut any corners here. This year's iPhone boasts a stunning OLED screen that's just a joy to look at. The colors are incredibly vivid and lifelike, the blacks are deep and inky, and the overall sharpness is just phenomenal. Whether you're scrolling through photos, watching videos, or just browsing the web, everything looks incredibly crisp and clear on this display. It's a noticeable upgrade from previous models, even if you're coming from a relatively recent iPhone. The brightness is also excellent. Even in direct sunlight, you'll have no trouble seeing what's on your screen. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is Super Retina XDR? Well, that's Apple's fancy marketing term for their top-of-the-line display technology. Essentially, it's a combination of features that work together to create an exceptional viewing experience. We're talking about a high pixel density, which means you're getting an incredibly sharp image. Individual pixels are practically invisible to the naked eye. Then there's the wide color gamut, which allows the display to reproduce a broader range of colors. This means you're seeing more realistic and nuanced colors, especially in photos and videos. And finally, we have HDR, or High Dynamic Range. HDR content on this display is simply stunning. If you're a mobile gamer, this display is going to blow you away. The combination of the high refresh rate, the responsive touchscreen, and the vibrant colors makes for an incredibly immersive gaming experience. Games look and feel buttery smooth, and you'll never miss a beat. And it's not just gaming. Watching movies and TV shows on this display is a real treat. The colors just pop, the blacks are deep, and the overall clarity makes you feel like you're right there in the action. Whether you're into action-packed blockbusters or nature documentaries, this display does it all justice. And the larger screen size on the Pro models, that's just icing on the cake. Now, one feature that's been rumored is an always-on display. This would allow you to see basic information like the time, date, and notifications without having to wake up your phone. While this hasn't been confirmed yet, it's a feature that many users have been asking for, and it would certainly be a welcome addition. Imagine being able to quickly glance at your phone to check the time, or see if you have any new messages without having to unlock it. That's the convenience an always-on display could offer. Of course, battery life would be a concern, but Apple is usually pretty good at optimizing its software and hardware to minimize battery drain. Okay, we can't talk about the display without addressing the elephant in the room, the notch. Yes, it's still there. Some people love it, some people hate it. Personally, I don't mind it. It's a necessary compromise to achieve the slim bezels and the advanced Face ID technology. However, I do understand why some users find it distracting, especially when watching videos or playing games. Rumors suggest that Apple might be working on ways to shrink the notch or even eliminate it altogether in future models, but for now it's a design element we're stuck with. Alright, let's talk performance. This is where we see how well all that fancy hardware actually performs in the real world. And let me tell you, this new iPhone packs some serious power under the hood. It's equipped with Apple's latest A17 Bionic chip, which they claim is the fastest chip ever in a smartphone. Now, we've heard those claims before, but Apple usually delivers on its promises. This chip is built on a more efficient process, which means it can deliver more power while using less energy. That translates to a snappier, more responsive user experience, whether you're launching apps, multitasking, or editing videos. Trust me, you'll notice the difference. Section 2, Speed Tests and Benchmarks. Of course, we don't just have to take Apple's word for it. We've put the new iPhone through its paces with some rigorous speed tests and benchmarks, and the results are in. This thing flies. It consistently outperforms the competition in Geekbench and other popular benchmarks, delivering blazing fast processing speeds and graphics performance. But benchmarks only tell part of the story. What about real-world usage? Well, we're happy to report that the new iPhone lives up to the hype. Apps launch in a snap, scrolling is buttery smooth, and even demanding games run without a hitch. The improved RAM management also means you can have multiple apps open in the background without any noticeable slowdowns. Section 3. Battery life. Does it last? Now let's talk battery life. This is always a major concern for smartphone users, and rightfully so. Apple claims that the new iPhone offers all-day battery life, but we all know how those claims can sometimes be a bit optimistic. However, we've been pleasantly surprised by the battery life on this phone. Even with heavy usage, including gaming, streaming, and browsing, we consistently got through a full day on a single charge. The more efficient A17 Bionic chip definitely plays a role here, as does the optimized software. Plus, the new iPhone supports fast charging, so you can quickly top up the battery if you're running low. Overall, we're impressed with the battery life on the new iPhone. Section 4. The iOS advantage. Now we can't talk about performance without mentioning iOS. Apple's mobile operating system is a cornerstone of its ecosystem. Apple's mobile operating system is known for its simplicity, fluidity, and overall polish. It's designed to be intuitive and user-friendly, making it accessible to everyone from tech enthusiasts to casual users. And with the new iPhone, iOS is even better than before. The latest iteration brings a host of new features that enhance the user experience in meaningful ways. The latest version brings new features, performance improvements, and enhanced privacy controls. These updates ensure that users have more control over their data and can enjoy a faster, more responsive device. But what really sets iOS apart is how well it's optimized for Apple's hardware. This tight integration means that the software and hardware work in perfect harmony. Everything just works together seamlessly, resulting in a smooth and enjoyable user experience. Whether you're browsing the web, playing games, or using productivity apps, iOS delivers consistent performance. From the buttery smooth animations to the snappy app launches, iOS is a joy to use. The attention to detail in every aspect of the operating system is evident. And because Apple controls both the hardware and software, they're able to deliver a level of integration and optimization that's unmatched by the competition. This synergy results in a device that feels cohesive and reliable. This is a key advantage for Apple, and it's one of the reasons why iOS continues to be a favorite among smartphone users. The seamless experience, combined with regular updates and support, keeps users coming back year after year. Okay, let's talk cameras. Because let's be real, the camera is one of the most important features on any smartphone these days. And Apple knows it. They've packed this new iPhone with some impressive camera tech. But before we dive into the nitty-gritty, let's address the megapixel myth. Yes, the new iPhone has a high megapixel count, but megapixels aren't everything. In fact, they're only a small part of the equation when it comes to image quality. What really matters is the sensor size, the lens quality, and the image processing. And spoiler alert, Apple's got all of those bases covered. Let's start with photos. In good lighting, the new iPhone captures incredible images. The colors are accurate and punchy, without being overly saturated. The details are sharp, even when you zoom in. And the dynamic range is impressive, capturing detail in both the highlights and shadows. But what about low-light performance? This is where things get really interesting. Apple has significantly improved its low-light photography with the new iPhone. The larger sensor and wider aperture allow more light to be captured, resulting in brighter and clearer images with less noise. And with the new photonic engine, Apple's image processing pipeline, low-light photos look even more impressive. Details are preserved, noise is reduced, and colors look natural. Now, let's talk video. The new iPhone can shoot video up to 4K resolution at 60 frames per second, and it looks absolutely stunning. The footage is incredibly detailed and buttery smooth, even when there's a lot of movement in the scene. And the stabilization is top-notch, keeping your video steady even if you're walking or running. But what really sets the new iPhone apart is its cinematic mode. This mode allows you to shoot videos with a shallow depth of field, similar to what you'd get with a professional cinema camera. You can even change the focus point after you've shot the video, which is pretty amazing. Cinematic mode is a game changer for mobile videography, and it's something that other smartphone manufacturers are still trying to catch up with. So, is the new iPhone the camera king? It's definitely up there with the best of them. The combination of impressive hardware, advanced software, and user-friendly features makes it a truly capable camera phone. Whether you're a casual shooter or a seasoned pro, the new iPhone delivers exceptional image quality and creative control. Of course, no camera is perfect, and there are other smartphones out there with their own unique strengths and weaknesses. But overall, the new iPhone's camera is a major selling point, and it's one of the best you'll find on a smartphone today. We've covered the design, the display, the performance, and the camera. But the new iPhone is more than just the sum of its parts. Apple has packed in a ton of additional features and refinements that enhance the overall user experience. From subtle software tweaks to thoughtful hardware additions, it's clear that Apple has sweated the details with this release. One of the things that sets Apple apart is its attention to detail. It's in the smooth animations, the intuitive gestures, and the overall polish of the software. These small touches might seem insignificant on their own, but they add up to create a truly premium and enjoyable user experience that's hard to match. Speaking of software, let's not forget about the seamless integration between the new iPhone and the Apple ecosystem. If you're already using a Mac, an iPad, or an Apple Watch, this new iPhone will slide right into your workflow. Features like AirDrop, Handoff, and Universal Clipboard make it incredibly easy to move between devices and pick up where you left off. And with the latest version of iOS, Apple has introduced even more ways to connect and share with your other Apple devices. You can now seamlessly answer calls on your Mac or iPad, share your screen wirelessly, and even use your iPad as a second display for your Mac. Security and privacy are more important than ever, and Apple continues to make strides in these areas with the new iPhone. Face ID, Apple's facial recognition system, is even faster and more secure than before, allowing you to unlock your phone, authenticate payments, and log into apps with just a glance. And with new privacy features in iOS, you have more control over your data than ever before. You can now see which apps are accessing your location, camera, and microphone, and you can revoke permissions at any time. Apple is also doubling down on its commitment to data encryption, ensuring that your personal information stays private and secure. But perhaps the biggest additional feature of the new iPhone is something that's hard to quantify: the Apple ecosystem. It's not just about the hardware or the software, it's about how everything works together in perfect harmony. When you buy an iPhone, you're not just buying a phone. You're investing in a comprehensive experience that extends far beyond the device itself. You're buying into an entire ecosystem of devices, services, and experiences that work together seamlessly. This interconnectedness is what sets Apple apart from its competitors. From the App Store with its millions of apps to Apple Music with its vast library of songs, the ecosystem offers endless possibilities for entertainment, productivity, and creativity. The Apple ecosystem offers a level of convenience, integration, and quality that's hard to match. Whether you're at home, in the office, or on the go, your Apple devices work together to make your life easier. And with each new product and service that Apple releases, the ecosystem becomes even more compelling. The seamless integration only gets better with time, making it a worthwhile investment. Whether you're a longtime Apple user or you're considering switching, the ecosystem is a major factor to consider. It offers a unique value proposition that is hard to find elsewhere. The ecosystem is a major factor to consider. It's not just about the individual devices, but how they all work together to create a cohesive and intuitive experience. It's a testament to Apple's vision of creating a unified and intuitive user experience, one that is designed to make technology accessible and enjoyable for everyone. And it's one of the key reasons why Apple continues to be a leader in the tech industry. The ecosystem is more than just a collection of products. It's a lifestyle choice that enhances everyday life. So there you have it, the new iPhone unpacked. We've explored its design, marveled at its display, put its performance to the test, and captured stunning visuals with its camera. But the big question remains, is it worth your hard-earned cash? Well, the answer, as always, is a bit nuanced. There's no denying that this is one of the most impressive iPhones Apple has ever released. It's a powerhouse of a device, with top-of-the-line specs, a gorgeous display, and a camera that rivals standalone point-and-shoots. But it's also important to acknowledge that not everyone needs the absolute latest and greatest. If you're rocking an iPhone that's a generation or two old, you might not see a night-and-day difference with this upgrade. And let's be honest, those subtle refinements come at a premium price. Speaking of price, there's no getting around the fact that the new iPhone is expensive. In fact, it's one of the most expensive smartphones on the market. But Apple has always positioned itself as a premium brand, and that premium comes at a cost. The question is, are you willing to pay that premium? Only you can answer that question. If you're someone who demands the absolute best and you're willing to pay for it, then the new iPhone is certainly worth considering. But if you're on a tighter budget or you're perfectly happy with your current phone, there's no shame in sitting this one out. So, should you upgrade? If you're coming from an older iPhone, especially one that's a few generations behind, then the answer is a resounding yes. You'll be blown away by the performance improvements, the camera capabilities, and the overall refinement of the user experience. But if you're rocking a relatively recent iPhone, the decision is a bit trickier. The upgrades are definitely there, but they might not be as immediately noticeable or as life-changing. Ultimately, the decision comes down to your individual needs, your budget, and your desire to have the latest and greatest.